Welcome to Bubbles and Breakdowns, a space designed for you to show up as your beautifully imperfect self, where we dive into the good, the bad, and the bubbly. I'm Katrina.
And I'm Ashley. And let's talk about manifesting the partner you deserve today.
I think I did that.
Yeah.
I think you did that.
I mean, he just came. He just appeared. So I think I was sending vibes, but who knows? But manifestation is often dismissed as wishful thinking. But in this episode, we're really going to strip away that fluff. We're looking at manifestation through the lens of psychological readiness and this energy alignment. We explore the hard truths. You don't manifest what you want. You manifest what you believe you deserve.
That is so important.
That's
that
very
last part.
important. So this episode is a roadmap for clearing the mental clutter, all the clutter, of the past to make space for high-value partnership.
This one really hits home. And so I really think to talk to this topic the best we can, Ashley, we have to talk through our own lived experience. I know, we're doing the Wayne's World.
Yes.
Yes. I love Wayne's World. Oh my gosh. Shout out to all the millennials that made sense too. And sorry for anyone who didn't.
Look it up and have a laugh.
Exactly. So let's talk about maybe how we met our now husbands.
Sure.
Do you want to start?
Okay. How old was I? Let me think. Somewhere in my 30s, 29. Anyway, I guess that's not important. But I'm just trying to set the scene. 29-year-old Ashley prowling the city out with her girls. And this is actually perfect timing because I was out on Galentine's Day.
Oh my gosh.
So it was me and three of my good friends and just kind of, going to some different bars, having a nice dinner. And we ended up at a late night bar.
Love it.
So it was on Valentine's Day that we went to. And I saw someone that I used to work with. So I started talking to him and he's like, hey, meet my friend Brad. And I was like, oh, hey, Brad. Who is this bald man that has a beard? I'm like, I'm intrigued. And we started talking. And then he wanted to take me out on a date.
Oh my gosh, that's fast.
I know.
Look at him. I love it.
I am a dime piece. And
of course.
I will never forget our first date too, because I was like, I misjudged traffic and he was taking me to a Blackhawks game. I'm like, this is the first date, like a steak dinner. I was like, okay. And I was late and he's like, okay, where are you? Cause we're going to lose the table. And I'm like, I'm in traffic. So I'm like, and that I'm not a late person.
Not starting off
like
great.
I am like, he's not going to know who I am. I think timing and punctuality is a sign of respect. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he thinks I'm like, just like aloof, whatever. And it went from there. So we met at a late night bar. It was called Boss Bar, if those of you are familiar. And the rest is history.
Oh my gosh.
So that was kind of our little love story. So we met through a mutual friend who actually, he married us at our wedding.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And it was really, really special. But yeah, I think sometimes you never know. Even the most galantine days or whatever can lead you to your partner.
I love it. That is such a cute story. Thanks. And we'll reverse before you met him in a little bit. I'll share my story and then we can kind of go from there.
Great.
So I met my husband when I think I was 23 years old. However, prior to meeting him, this is a really interesting part of our story. Interesting and embarrassing. So back in the days of MySpace, I was perusing MySpace.
My friend Tom.
Yes, Tom. Good old Tom. I was perusing my girlfriend's list of guys and like looking at their faces. And she's like, you think any of these are cute? Like, oh, blah. She's like trying to get me a boyfriend or whatever. Late night, too many drinks in, back at my apartment. And I didn't know it at the time, but it was Matt's face that stood out amidst all of these guys. She had a lot of them. She was a model, like legit a model. And I was like, oh my gosh, he has the most perfect smile. And she was like, you should message him. And I was like, that's embarrassing. And she's like, let's look at his profile. And like, I saw that he liked Muse, the band, and I loved Muse. And I was like, okay.
I'm going to send him a song lyric.
Well, what I did was even dorkier. I just said, this is verbatim. And this is so embarrassing. Like, what a nerd. I sent him a message and it said, I want to give you a right on for your music choice. And I like can't even say it out loud sometimes because it's so embarrassing. So fast forward.
Just like right on. Like
right on. Like that dorky, okay? Keep in mind, I ran...
feel like usually I'm like, oh, these things are cute.
No,
Like, that's pretty
bad.
dorky.
It's pretty bad. I ran a live music nightclub at the time and like was really into music and fast forward. So like he responded like, thanks. And I was like...
Buddy responded?
I was like, okay, he's not into it, whatever. So fast forward 2 months. It's my birthday. I'm behind the bar at the bar that I'm managing, and I see him come in. And I was like, oh, this is so embarrassing. Like, I know who he is. He doesn't know who I am because he, like, obviously wasn't into it.
He's just going to be like, right on.
Yeah, and they, like, ordered, PBRs for $1. And I was like, oh, and back then, he would wear, like, blazers all the time. Like, he's kind of...
That was in, like,
yes.
Even talking to my husband, he's like, kids just don't dress up anymore to go out.
Yeah.
And I was like, what, your velvet blazer and your...
Velvet blazer, corduroy blazer.
Totally. The whole
sweater
lineup.
vests.
Yes.
Like, were a thing for guys.
Crazy.
And now...
Every button down.
Yeah, I think Matt's still sad that he doesn't have a sweater vest. But okay, so point being, like, I'll try and speed this up a little bit, is that I saw him, he didn't know who I was. No connection that night. 1 month later, I'm at a Thursday night at a different sports bar. I was arguably looking cute. And I'm coming back from requesting a song. This is also embarrassing. It was the time of Anchorman, and I had requested Afternoon Delight. And I was like so excited about it. And I'm like coming back to the table and his friend grabbed me. And he goes, have you met my friend Matt?
This is like How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, right.
Have you met my friend Ted?
I don't know that show, but I'm sure it was. So then it was like, sure. And then he called him Mr. Big Bucks, which is quite hilarious because now I know what he made back then and he didn't have that much money. And we started talking and he said that he was in a band and he gave me his band business card because he also is equally the biggest nerd. And I gave him my, bar manager business card. Like, this is back in the day where business cards were a thing. We exchanged business cards.
I'm obsessed with
And
this.
he, like, emailed me the next day and was like, let's meet up at this other bar. And then, of course, like, the rest is history. I actually showed up to the bar, not the bar we were going to meet at. And then he walked into that bar. And I was like, I'm playing the stupid game on the machine, sitting by myself, waiting for my friend. I'm like, I look like such a loser. And he sends me a beer, which was a Corona. I was like, I want a Corona. And then, yeah, like we hung out the rest of the night. And he ended up spending the night, but we talked until 8 o'clock in the morning. We didn't even go to sleep. So the rest is history. But let's go back to, and by the way, it took me 3 months to admit to him that I had messaged him on MySpace because I was so embarrassed. And he was like, what? And I made him pull it up and he was like, no way. I'm like, yeah. And then like we basically were engaged.
He's like, oh, you're the right on girl?
Yeah. I was like, what a nerd. Yeah. He's like, I can't believe I like you.
When you originally said that, I thought you meant like ride on. And I was like, Katrina.
Take it down a notch.
Whoa.
Don't be that forward.
Yikes. This is only MySpace.
I know, right? So no, like let's go back maybe before we met these guys.
Sure.
Like, where were you? Like what was your energy? Like what was like
I feel like,
how did you feel?
I was very like wanting someone, not finding the right one. I feel like I was the classic daddy girl issues trap where like I'd go over these guys who like wouldn't give me the time of day but was also very career driven. Like I was working in the suburbs, so I was driving out there, living in the city, and long days. I would get home late and just like couldn't find a parking spot on the Chicago city streets. So like crying because I'm like, I don't know what to do and I'm so tired.
Yeah. Oh,
and then like getting up and doing it again the next day. So like, and then, it's at that mentality living in the city. It's like work hard, play hard. And then it's like, want to grab drinks and dinner tonight? You're like, oh, sure. It's like 8 o'clock. Like who was I? Right. So I think it was just like fast paced, going. And, just not, I think, realizing the people that I was dating didn't deserve me, I think, and kind of putting up with a lot of bullshit, to be honest.
So what changed in you to be like, I'm done with that BS?
Well,
and like,
my friends will tell you, at first I was like, I don't think I want to date Brad.
Guard was up.
Do you know what the red flag was? He was too nice.
Right.
Like,
no, this makes sense.
What?
I know. Isn't that a horrible thing to say?
Horrible. And now,
Like, I want someone who kind of treats me like shit because that's what I'm used to.
oh my gosh. Like, it literally, my friends are like, did you hear what you just said? That's your red flag. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is warped.
Good friends, though.
You know what I mean? To be like, come on, Ash, like, let's go. And then, like, once I like accepted, like, oh, I deserve nice people in my life. We just got more serious, and it was wonderful.
So,
and still is.
What you just described is exactly what we're talking about in brief, is that an energetic shift happened where you had a moment, and we didn't know this going into this conversation, but you had a moment where your energy shifted and your self-worth changed, and you were like, what I deserve is nice, and I am nice, and I deserve nice people. And instead of seeking out this like trauma response reflection of who you don't deserve and who's not worthy of you. And I can relate to this so much because before I was with my husband, I did have a very nice guy I was with early on in college, wonderful human being. We just weren't meant to be. And then I started like dating all these kind of like somewhat losers. One of them, the one I was with prior to my husband, was just like so far left field, like so not even in my realm, you know, and just like bad for me and just toxic and for himself. And it was just very negative. And I remember being like, what am I doing? Like, why am I with this guy?
Well, and you know, you get in that comfortability trap of just having somebody there.
Yes.
Negative,
and that's what he was.
Right. Negative or positive, to
Totally.
have that presence of, I get to see them every week or I get to talk to them every night.
Right.
It's kind of a comfort, especially
Makes
when
you
all
feel
your
like you-
friends are in
yeah.
relationships, right? To just like feed into it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like the power of making, like the strength of being alone, I think can propel a lot of people to choose the people that are not right for them.
Totally.
And I can feel, I remember sitting in my apartment after the good relationship I had ended and being like, I'm so lonely. I can't stand this anymore. Because we all want to be loved, you know? And I feel that even now being, you know, at 20 plus 5 years past that, I can still very much relate to it. But I think what's important about when we look to manifest partners for ourselves, we have to get really grounded really quick.
Yeah.
And we have to figure out the long game of who we really do deserve and what we really want. And we have to kind of have a hard talk with ourselves if we don't have friends like yours that held up the mirror and said, of course, yeah, nice guys are nice, you know?
That's what you want.
Yeah. And I think you guys are really well matched in that. Is that if we don't have that conversation, we continue to kind of settle. And you'll notice that the similar type partners continue to show up that have these deficiencies. And maybe they're emblematic of how your dad was, or maybe they're emblematic of past relationships. And you're in this like repetitive cycle of, you know, manifesting and attracting, frankly, people that have mismatched energy. So it's about getting really serious with yourself and then setting boundaries. So if you have a relationship that you know isn't serving you, it's closing that door, because manifestation can only work energetically if you have moved on from whatever chapter it is that you're still holding on to. Whether it's your career, whether it's a friendship, like if you're still holding on to a friendship that's no longer real, that was built on a friendship 10 years ago and has evolved out of it, and you're still holding on to it, you may not move into a new direction for a new friendship, right? Like you have to let go.
And make space.
And make space. And make space physically, energetically, mentally, and emotionally to create an environment that's conducive to that future person, right? So I've met people in coaching circles, Ashley, that are like, I literally manifested this person, because it's about visualizing, and then not just like visualizing it, but feeling it in our bodies that we are worthy. And maybe you experience that to some less of a woo-woo degree with Brad, because you can basically say to yourself like, oh, I'm not turned off by him being nice. I now want him to be nice.
And it took me a while to get there, but once I realized it and I accepted that, it's almost like you attract what you give off that at that point.
Yes.
Right? And it was kind of like, oh, this is really making me happy.
Right.
You know, and then you want to do the same for them.
Mm-hmm. And I think the biggest thing with, you know, some people I know that haven't found partners, I think one of them that I know doesn't really want one. Another one really does, you know, but it's tough to make those hard decisions, and it's tough to create space. It's tough to sit in the loneliness. I can imagine. I have high empathy. But if we really want to manifest the lives that we want, we have to clear out that energetic garbage that we don't want to carry forward.
Totally. And I feel like you always hear that old adage, right? Like, how do you love anyone else if you don't love yourself? And
Yes.
I think part of clearing out that baggage, like you're saying, or processing to understand, like, oh, this really isn't working for me, is part of getting there.
Mm-hmm. So let's think about that. Law of mirroring is like you get what you put out, to your point. So if you are lonely and desperate, you're going to attract lonely and desperate people. Like this makes sense. Like people love likeness, and we tend to indice to likeness in so many things. So you need to shift your baseline into feeling complete and to feeling whole and to saying, I'm enough. And it's easier said than done. Mm-hmm. But if you don't do that, you're not going to find people who feel whole and complete and that can complement you and be your partner, right? The other thing is, like, we talked a little bit about this, like we picked maybe people that weren't the right type for us, right? So it's like having that moment of being like, this is a pattern. Like, I keep dating jerks. Like, what am I looking for? Why do I want to be abused, like verbally or emotionally from someone? So how are you going to change who you're choosing? Mm-hmm. What type of things are you really looking for? And then when someone shows you who they are in a bad way, then you move on. Mm-hmm. And you have like that compass.
And I think it really is just like, we talked about self-love. This is like the highest form, is realizing and accepting what you deserve.
Mm-hmm.
And
knowing your worth. Yeah,
exactly. And it's hard to get there, I think, too, especially when you deal with, you know, outside circumstances or a tough life, or maybe you're craving some of these relationships that you're used to, and you fall in this pattern that is kind of self-sabotage-y, but like, you're not going to grow and get to where you want to be by sticking in that pattern.
Yeah. Same with what you do on your day-to-day.
Right.
Right. So like, are you going out? Are you putting yourselves in new social circles intentionally to create space? Are they the right social circles that match with the values of the person that you're looking for? Like, do you need to go on a little eat, pray, love adventure?
For
you
sure.
know? And like, I'm being bold here because I have to believe if I hadn't found someone that I would have like really created that space and sought out those opportunities to find them.
I see you being eat, pray, love, though. Like, I don't know why. I just see you like learning to make pasta.
I want to do it. I want to have that moment. I think it's a beautiful thing.
It
and like,
is. Not
to find a partner, but to explore the world and like open ourselves up. And I think, you know, when we talk about manifestation of anything, it's like we all can sit on the couch and feel safe in that space and put on the movie or put on the show, but people don't just come knocking on our door. I know that sounds ridiculous, but if you are in that space, and I'm speaking from my heart, is like, no one's going to save you but you. So you need to do the things that it takes to put yourself in the space where things are possible. And if you are holding yourself back, if you are going through life doing the same things over and over, expecting different results, well, we know that's the definition of insanity. But also, like, you're robbing yourself of meeting people who could completely change our, like, the trajectory of our lives. Mm-hmm. And I think, like, it really matches up, Ashley, with a lot of the things we talk about. It's doing the hard thing. Like, it feels easy to go put on the cozy pajamas and put on the show. And yeah, some nights you should do it. But then maybe it's like one night a week. Are you going to a place by yourself? Oh my gosh, how scary is that?
Or join a club, or join a group, or find, like you said, like those same values or activities, right, that are going to attract you to someone that you enjoy, something that you enjoy, which I think is super, super important too.
Yeah. And I think, like, if I were to look back at how I brought Matt into my realm, I literally, after I sent that dorky message to him, was like, this guy has already filed me in the not cute category and like not worthy of him. And like, he also was a lead singer of a band, and he had like all these young girls like oogling over him and stuff. And I was like, he is way too cute for me. I believed that. And then I was like, well, maybe not. And it's believing that like
and then you got the business card.
And then I got the business card. But like I like really feel like he came into my life as exactly when he should have. If he would have come a few years earlier, we would have been mismatched. If it was later, we would have been moved on. Like I think, you know, Brad did for you as well. So I would just say to anybody out there who's experiencing loneliness, like I feel for you. Sometimes all I want to do is be alone. So like you always want what you don't have. But know that you're worthy. Know that you have qualities that someone else will find absolutely amazing, and you deserve whatever is going to be best for you. And get out of those old patterns. Like pull yourself up out of the bad habits of choosing the wrong person, the bad habits of staying at home, the bad habits of not believing that you are worthy of a nice guy.
Break the chain.
Break your patterns.
Definitely.
And so like an invitation this month to anybody out there that would love to be in a relationship is to spend some time cultivating what you need and then believe that you deserve it.
Completely agree. Well, and remember, after every breakdown,
don't forget the bubbles.
Thank you all for joining. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, follow us on Apple Podcasts, listen to us on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on the gram and like all of our reels.
Yes. And cheers, everybody.
Bye.